Hello, Laura here, and I am doing an exam analysis for you today of L5M1. This is a beast, absolute beast of a module, the largest at CIPS, with those 5 learning objectives. So what I thought we'd do is drill into each learn objective and kind of see what's come up in the past and what hasn't. I just want to put a little caveat here. I've used what students have told me and principal markers reports. Some of the more recent principal markers reports are incredibly vague, and it's to the point where we don't actually know the topic in any detail. So that's a little caveat that some of these will be vaguer than others. Okay, we're going to drill into each learning objective now. So let's start with LO1. Remember that questions are set from the learning outcome, and these are all of the topics that you could be asked a question on. So for learning objective 1, we have 4 learning objectives. Analyse aspects of organisational behaviour. Analyse contemporary approaches to management and organisational behaviour. Analyse the origins of management and organisational behaviour. You seen a trend here, guys? Evaluate influences that shape organisational behaviour. So you definitely need to know what organisational behaviour is. And when I've gone back and looked at the questions that have come up here, you can see that organisational behaviour is covered. However, we don't know the nuance about whether it was asking about the shape of organisational behaviour, different types, and so on and so on. So July 23 was org behaviour, as was May 23 with management and organisational behaviour. In March 23, we know they drilled into culture as part of organisational behaviour. November 22 was older management theory, so we're talking origins of management here. July 22 was characteristics of management style, as was May 22. Again, the questions are quite vague, so we don't know exactly the nuance to it. March 22 was talking about the systems approach to management. November 21 was the psychological contract. You might want to pause here, note these down, take a picture. If you are a student of Business Academy Online, then you will see these in your virtual learning module. Whether you're Diamond or Ruby package, you will have this. In July 21, we had culture and structure as part of organisational behaviour. May 21, we had org metaphors. March 21 was contemporary management approaches like systems and contingency. January 21 was bureaucratic management. November 20 was culture. September 20 was scientific management, F.W. Taylor. November 19 was org behaviour, as was July 19 with org behaviour and structure. So if we do like a little bit of an analysis on this, obviously we've got our 4 learning outcomes. Learning outcome 1.1 is quite popular here. We've got the psychological contract that came up once, management styles, which came up twice, org metaphors, Gareth Morgan's, came up once, and structure, which also fits into 1.4, just to bear in mind, came up twice. So this could be 1.1 or 1.4. In 1.2, contemporary approaches to management was asked once, and systems approach was asked once. In 1.3, we've got older management theory as a whole. We don't know which one it was actually asking. It's quite generic in the principal markers report. Scientific management's been asked once, and bureaucratic has been asked once too. Organisational behaviour as a whole in 1.4 has been asked. So technically that could fit into any of them, but I've put it here in terms of shaping organisational behaviour. And culture, which is mentioned in 1.4, has also come up 3 times. That's quite a popular topic. Learn objective 2. So we've got 4 areas again. We've got different behavioural characteristics of individuals, learning styles of individuals, approaches to motivation, and job satisfaction. So I would say that it's almost impossible to tell what was on July 23 or May 23 from the principal markers report. They just talk about managing individuals, which technically is the whole learning objective. So we're not quite sure what came up here. March 23 was a case study on team members. So this says to me that it's more of 2.1, managing individuals. November 22 was job roles. July was benefits of diversity. May was tacit and explicit knowledge. March 22 was motivation. November 21, positive impacts of equality and inclusion. Again, pause this if you need to. July 21, approaches to learning. May 21 was individual behaviours. March 21, job satisfaction. We've got a tacit knowledge in Jan, job enlargement and enrichment in November 20, September 20, content and process motivation, so 2 different schools of motivation theory. November 19, emotional intelligence, and July 19 was motivation theories again. So here we have the kind of focus areas that have come up. Just as a caveat though, for all of these learning objectives, remember they could ask any question from any of the learning outcomes, and they may repeat things that have come up before. So there's no guarantee here. Diversity and equality and inclusion came up as 2.1, 1 time each. Emotional intelligence came up once, and that managing individual behaviours came up around 4 times because it's quite vague. In 2.2, we've got tacit and explicit knowledge, which came up twice, and learning approaches, which came up once. Motivation is quite popular in 2.3, that came up 4 times. Job enlargement and enrichment in 2.4 has come up once, as has job roles and design, and job satisfaction. So you can see that there are certain topics that are repeated over again. Learn Objective 3 now. So again, we've got those 4 areas in Learn Objective 3. So essentially, effective work groups is 3.1, stages of development of work groups or teams in 3.2, characteristics of effective work groups or teams, 3.3, and 3.4 is the nature of role relationships. Effective teams comes up a lot, which you would expect because obviously that's covered in a couple of learning outcomes. But July 23, we had 5 factors of effective teams. In May 23, we had work teams. Factors of effective teams came up again, building a team, team development, case scenario on what makes a team in May 22, how to maintain team performance levels in March 22. November 22 was conflict within teams. July 21, we've got managing and developing teams, same as May 21, they're quite vague. Can't tell from the PM report exactly what they're saying here. Virtual teams came up for March 21. Physical work environment for teams was Jan 21. Conflict again in November 20. Effective teams, factors in team dynamics, and effective teams again for July 19. So if we look at what's come up, what makes a team in 3.1 has come up once. Team development is very popular in 3.2. That's come up 5 times. The physical work environment has also come up once. Team dynamics in 3.3 has come up once, as has virtual teams. And effective teams is also very popular with 5 times coming up. 3.4, we have conflict, which has come up twice. Learn Objective 4 then. Again, 4 learning outcomes. HRM, Human Resource Management. Skills and knowledge needed. 4.3, key components of a recruitment and selection plan. And 4.4, identifying a plan for training and development. So again, the PM reports are so vague on the last couple in particular. So all it says is human resource management. So that could be 4.1 or it could be the whole thing. Again, in March 23, there was a table linked to how to improve human resource management. Staff development methodologies came up in November 22. Performance outcomes in July. HRM came up twice again in May and March. And learning and development plans came up in November 21. July 21, we had shared responsibility for HRM. May looked at the case study on how to improve retention of staff. Job description came up for March 21. Evaluating training and the limitations of training was January 21. Job description and job analysis came up in November 20. Training and development again in September. Job analysis again in November 19. And training and development was July 19. So if we look at these as focus areas, we can clearly see that HRM has come up 4 times in 4.1, retention of staff 1 time, and shared responsibility for HRM has come up once. Job analysis has come up twice in 4.2. Job description has come up twice again in 4.3. And 4.4, we've got lots of little nuances. We've got staff development, performance outcomes, learning and development plans, and training and development. They've all come up once except for training and development plans, which has come up 3 times. So a popular topic. Final learning objective, LO5. So again, 4 areas. Self-development techniques is 5.1. Organizational change and change management is 5.2. 5.3 is diversity, and 5.4 is equality. So we've got quite a lot on individual capabilities. Again, July and May 23 are incredibly vague in the PM report, so it's very difficult to drill into that. March was 4 benefits for the organisation and individual of improving capability. We've got benefits of diversity in November 22, emotional intelligence, equality, legislation, effective change management, and feedback on individual performance. Change management again in July 21, then managing upwards in May, self-development in March, diversity and equality in Jan and November, emotional intelligence, effective change management, and July 19 is self-development techniques. So again, if we look at these on a kind of focus area, self-development, individual capability has come up 5 times. Emotional intelligence has come up twice. Managing upwards has come up once. And feedback on individual performance has come up once. In 4.2, effective change management has been asked 3 times. In 4.3, diversity has been asked twice. And in 4.4, quality has been asked twice. Again, we don't really know the nuance of those questions, but we do know the topics that have come up. So just as a final reminder, they can ask you questions on anything in the learning outcomes, but this gives you an idea of what's come up before and helps you make sure that you're not missing anything. You should be creating your notes based on every single one of those learning outcomes. I hope you found this useful. Best of luck in your exam, and I'll catch you back for another video soon. Bye for now.